What's going on, everybody? My name is Robert Ike, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This will be my first year playing disc golf competitively, and I wanted to bring you guys along for the journey. I've played disc golf on and off for quite a long time. I've never taken it very seriously, so this will be the first year where I've actually trained in the off season. I've been doing a lot of practice putting and form review and playing a ton of courses, doing a ton of field work, trying to get my body back into shape, and really want to hit this year just as hard as possible. Hopefully win a few tournaments. I am only an amateur. This will be my first year being PDGA rated. My number is 159764. I'm very excited. I have a lot of big goals in mind. A lot of ideas for videos. I want to do some challenges with my friends. I want to do some course playthroughs. I actually have an 18-hole course playthrough for you today. Unfortunately, I did not have my mic yet, so I did a little bit of, I filmed the entire round and then I did post-round commentary, so I hope you guys like it. Going forward, I will have a mic with my camera, so I will be able to do live commentary, not post commentary. So I'm gonna have a different look, trying to figure out my rhythm as I go forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any suggestions or any comments, please let me know in the comments section. I will read all of your feedback. I just want to make these videos as good for you as I enjoy making them. Let me know what you guys think. Without further ado, here's the footage. So hole 1 is an easy 230 feet. I like to take this hyzer around the outside. Here I'm throwing a Proto Malta, just nice and easy, never going to turn over on me, and that's generally parked every time. You can take a sidearm out here to the left, but I always tend to prefer the backhand. And like I said, I'm parked. On to the next hole. Hole 2 is 380 feet. It's a little bit down there to the left. I'm throwing an ESP Vulture here, and I just put a little bit too much on it and turned it over a bit, so it came out straight. Not taking into account the hill, so it's going to fade out and leave me well outside. No chance at a bird without a throw-in, but it's an easy par. Like I said, no chance at a bird here really without a throw-in. I'm opting to throw a rhino here. It's generally what I reach to whenever I'm coming for these short approaches. I just have a lot of trust in the disc to either go straight or come out left, and it's pretty nice to have in an approach disc. So I do make the miss here and kind of turn it over so it goes a little bit too straight and burns past the basket, but it's an easy 15 feet to come back for the par, so I'm really not all that worried. So as I'm walking up to the basket, I'm kind of just measuring out. I've got about 15 feet, so I've got to give it a little bit. There's a bit of wind too, so it's an easy putt, but I do have to give it a bit of thought. So just line it up and smash through the chains. Pretty straightforward putt. And I execute to perfection. So on to the next one. Hole 3 is 415 feet. Now this hole can actually be a little tricky. The play that I like to do is take a driver and just kind of try to torque it out straight past those trees and leave myself a nice easy approach out in that hill. If you make the miss and land in front of the trees, I always find it to be a more difficult approach. You kind of have to lean out left or right, and no one wants to do that. Here, I felt like I got a hold of it, and I put it right where I wanted to, but it kind of caught on a root and just counter-flared and stuck. So that's unfortunate. This approach was rushed as there were two guys that were behind me kind of getting ready to throw, and I thought they were going to throw while I was out here. So I was just trying to speed along, and I actually missed the putt after this approach shot. I got it up on the hill and just took the par. As you can see, I hit a branch here. I was rushing and I just kind of chucked it. And it's kind of all I have to say about that one, unfortunately. Hole 4 is 310 feet. It's dead straight out there, so you really just want to throw something that's going to go straight or that's going to S-line into those trees. I'm throwing an ESP Vulture again, but this time I just threw it terribly and turned and burned it into the ground, and I'm way short. As I'm walking up to this approach, I really just want to float something through those trees, and I threw in Tour Series Luna, and it just kind of caught some glide, and it just went way past the basket, so I'm well outside of a par putt. As you can see, I'm definitely over 30 feet. I may be 30 feet, but I felt like I was over 30 feet, and this is a tough putt. Coming down the hill a little bit, it's kind of a death putt, because if I miss and roll, I am so far away from the basket. It's not going to be easy. So I kind of got scared when I was tossing this up, kind of gave it a floaty approach. So if I missed, I wasn't going to go way past the basket. And even on that second putt, I just had no shot, unfortunately. So I'm going to walk up, tap these in, and just take my bogey and move on. I feel like my miss is actually throwing the vulture on this hole. It's only 310 feet, so I really should only be throwing a buzz. When I do get a vulture through, sometimes I get lucky on the sticks, and I feel like a buzz is just going to land me right here, so I think I'm going to be throwing a buzz in the tournament and not risk the vulture anymore. Hole 5 is 481 feet, and this hole really isn't that tough. You just need to throw something out to those trees or a little bit past those trees. I go for a Zeus because I can get this nice turnover line that puts me well up there by that big tree. Anything by that big tree is a safe drive. So this is kind of an ideal landing spot. I'm a little bit more to the right than you probably want to be, but I can see the basket. So it's a nice, easy putter. I just got to float it up to the basket, take my birdie, and move on. Unfortunately, I kind of put this out at a really bad angle, so I turned and burned it into the ground, and I've got like 15-20 to come back for the bird. It should be an easy putt, but I really wanted to see what I should have done, which is throw that out at a much better angle and put myself within 5 to 10, but we'll take what we can get. We should have an easy putt for a birdie, granted I don't whiff, and I really should not miss this hole in the tournament. This should almost be as close to a give me birdie as possible. I mean, look, this putt right here, I'm probably 15 feet if I had to guess on camera, and this should be lights out, no questions asked. But unfortunately, as some of you may know, disc golf isn't always that easy, and I kind of tunnel visioned into the bottom of the basket and just banged the putt right up against it. So that unfortunately hurts, because as you can see, that putt's really not that hard. I mean, just center the chains, use the hill to your advantage, and move on to the next hole. So this is a hole I can't miss in the upcoming tournament. I have to get this birdie. It's not that hard. So move on to hole 6. Hole 6 is only about 200 feet at best. I mean, it's just a simple hyzer. The only danger is there's a creek beyond the hole. That creek is OB, as well as this sidewalk to the left. And that tree is a Mando, so it seems like there's a lot of restrictions, but it's just a nice, easy putter. I'm throwing a champion rhino, and that's just parked. Like I said, it's just such an easy shot. We'll just tap this birdie in and go to hole 7. Hole 7 is about 300 feet. It's in the short pin, so this is also kind of a must-make birdie. There's not really a lot of difficult. Just throw a sidearm, let it crash in, and I mean, you're within circle 1. There's also the play to kind of go through the middle of the trees, but that never really works out. So as you can see, I'm like 10 feet. That's an easy putt. That's an easy birdie, and it feels good to get. The last 3 holes, hole 5, hole 6, and hole 7, should really be the birdies you make in the tournament. They're freebies. There's not a lot of challenge to them. So hole 8, on the other hand, I have not had a lot of success birdieing. This one, I just threw up, I turned it over, and I am in a terrible spot. I mean, you don't want to be in this spot. And this is kind of when the frustration of the round starts setting in. I have a habit of imploding when things don't go my way, which is a bad character trait of mine, and I'm trying to work through it. But the second my shots start missing like this, I just start to get super frustrated, and it starts to eat me up, as you can tell. So as we approach the lot, you'll see that we are just in a terrible spot. We're nestled up under these trees, so I don't really have a lot. I can't straddle out and take a sidearm because of those branches. It completely blocked that, so I felt my best bet was to just take something overstable and throw it really hard at the ground and get a good skip. I needed a little bit of clearance off the ground so it could fly, because I was still about 200 feet out, but it really should not have been that hard of a shot. And as I said before, frustration setting in, and I just threw it straight into the ground. I didn't even give the disc a chance. So both of these are Firebirds, champion Firebirds that I'm throwing, because I felt like those had the best chance of skipping. But the second one was a little bit better, but it's still not within circle 1, so I'm looking at bogey at best. As you can see, I'm like 150 out at this point, so I'm taking the Rhino again because it doesn't have a lot of glide compared to the Luna. So I can just pitch this up, get within circle 1, and take my par, or take my bogey, I mean. I'm left with about 20 feet here, but that's really not that bad. Just make the putt, take the bogey, and try to clear your head for the next one. It sucks getting a bogey after having 2 birdies, but just got to move on to the next one. Hole 9 is about 340 feet. I've actually never birdied this pin position, so I don't have high hopes for the tournament. My play is just kind of take a Zeus and flex it over that right opening that you can see, leave myself up on top of the hill and take a nice easy approach, but I miss this shot a lot. I mean, the miss is to just leave something short in front of these bushes or hang something right and go past the path and end up OB, but unfortunately here the frustration just sets in fully. I am thoroughly tilted as I have left that so short. Like I said, I have a tendency to implode, unfortunately, and that is just in full force here. But yeah, this lie is terrible. I mean, you have nothing. You're looking at an uphill shot towards this. You can't see the basket from here, and all of these branches are just in the way. So I'm taking a Tour Series Luna to try to get something glidey up there on top of the hill, and that really wasn't a bad shot from where I was. It sucks because it leaves me outside just to take a bogey, but it's better than rolling down the hill or looking at a double bogey, so I should be happy moving forward with this one. Like I said, this approach, I'm well outside of the circle. I mean, I barely even have a putt because I'm looking in front of this tree, so I just kind of make the conscious decision to just lay up and take the bogey and move on to the next one. It's unfortunate. We just kind of wiped the birdies we had, but we kind of have a clean slate moving into hole 10, so you can't ask for much more. Just a nice easy tap. Pull the putter out of the putter pocket, tap it in, clear your head, go to the next hole. Hole 10 is about 450 feet. It's over that hill, so I'm taking an ESP Zeus, the same ESP Zeus we just threw, to try to get a nice little flex shot on top of that hill, and so I can stare right down at the basket and make an easy approach. And I mean, this is the third hole in a row. I just threw it right into another tree, and man, the frustration here is mounting. Luckily, I kicked off that tree and I'm out here in the opening, so I don't really have a bad look at this basket. I can't see the basket, but I don't have much in my way besides that little tree right in front of me, so I'm thinking, nice easy Crystal Luna, just throw it over the hill and let it glide down for me. So that's what I'm lining up, and as I throw, just right into another tree, so I am just feeling it now. As Nate Sexton says best, what are trees? And I'm grabbing my Tour Series Luna here to see if I can miss the tree and have a better angle, and I just turned this right into the tree. Man, the frustration here is palpable, let me tell you. So as you can see, I'm left outside of the circle again. I have no look for a birdie. So I'm grabbing one of my Lunas here. I just want to toss this down to the basket, tap it in, and go to hole 11. But I just didn't put anything into it, and I just threw it straight at the ground. So it's my own fault. Like I said, I'm very frustrated at this point. I'm not putting a lot into my shots as I should be. That second shot actually wasn't that bad, but I'm left with about 15 to 20. Really not a difficult putt, but as I said, frustrated. So I really need this putt to right the ship. I'm trying to clear my head and just stare at the chain link like I always do to throw this in and take a couple practice strides, you know, get it lined up, and boy, that almost bounced out of the bottom cage, but luckily it's stuck so we can move on to the next one. Hole 11 is about 650 feet. It's a nice par 4. You really just want to get out into that open field, so I'm taking an ESP Zeus, and that's what I'm trying to do. I didn't get enough on it. I left it a bit short, but we're really not in a bad spot here, so can't complain all that much. As you can see, I just have a nice straight shot through these trees, and I will be within circle for a putt, so I'm reaching for an ESP Malta. I feel like I can hang it out straight enough to the right and let the disc's tendencies pull a little bit to the left, and I felt like I threw it really well. I could have probably put a little bit more into it and I would have been parked, but I hit the tree and I fall short, so yeah, I'm going to have a tough approach just to even get par. Because these trees are just guardian trees. They will eat discs. I really need to get through this gap, and it doesn't look that tough on the camera, but at this point, with me being as frustrated as I was, everything's a chore. But I'm grabbing an ESP zone here. I feel like it's just a nice easy flex. It's giving me the best opportunity to get in there, so I'm going to take this ESP zone, flex it up there nice and easy, and we're within circle. That's about a 10-foot putt. Really shouldn't be a problem to clean this up. But boy, Wilmore was muddy. It was an actual swamp out there today, and it was so cold, so there really is no easy shot today, but got to get our practice in somewhere, and unfortunately the Midwest is not too kind to disc golfers. My lie's a little tricky here because I'm just directly into this bush. So I try to lock all the branches behind my leg so it doesn't affect my swing and straddle out, heart of the chains, take the par, move on to hole 12. Hole 12 is 300 feet. I actually haven't birdied this one, but I've been circle 2 almost every shot I've taken. I like to take an ESP Vulture and kind of throw it up over the hill and let the disc kind of flex out so it lands up there. I may need to throw a bigger disc to try to get into circle 1 since I'm consistently in circle 2, but I just feel like it's the right disc. I missed the approach actually, so I was circle 2. It was a nice easy putt right here to just lay up for the tap in and go on to hole 13. Hole 13 is 230 feet. It is a steep downhill, even though you can't see it on camera. It's a bit off to the left, but it's not very far. The play is always just to take a putter, and I'm throwing an ESP zone because no matter what I do, this disc is going to go to the left. So I'm trying not to put a lot on it, just trying to throw it out straight and let the disc dive into the ground. And I put a little bit too much on it and just burned it way past the hole. So I think I end up about 40 feet out. May look a little bit closer on camera, but it definitely felt like it was a longer putt. So with all that mud and water around too, I don't want to just throw it straight at the basket like I normally would, because if I miss, I'm just in a lake. So I try to correct it and try to float it to the basket a little bit so it lands under the basket. I'd rather deal with the mud than the water. So that's what my goal here is to do. Unfortunately, as you saw, I just kind of flubbed it. I didn't get my back leg into it at all, so there was no pop, and unfortunately I just left it way short, so it's just a nice easy tap in and on to the next one. But boy, my discs were muddy after this. So hole 14's up a bit to the left. It's like 350 feet, I believe. Here I just took an ESP Onyx and I just turned it over way too much, and I'm in a really bad spot. The basket's on the middle of the slope, so you kind of have to throw down towards it, but as you know, with throwing towards a downward slope, if you miss, you're going to roll away, and if you leave it a bit short, it's a scary putt, because if you miss the putt, then you're rolling away anyway. So I felt it was best to take another Luna here, because the Lunas are a little bit softer, so they should stick to the ground, and I actually wanted to throw it at these branches, which I did perfectly, and I landed about 5 feet out, so perfectly executed. This is just a nice, easy tap-in. Oh, but I almost slipped there. Oh, I gotta be careful. Ooh, those hills are tricky. Hole 15 is about 320 feet. It's just a big hyzer around all these trees and just kind of crash into the trees, because if you crash into the trees, you're probably going to skip up towards this little hill, and you're going to have yourself a nice putt, which this is one of the best throws I've had on this hole. This hole is actually kind of hard for me to get to sometimes, so I was very happy with this result. I actually really wanted to make this putt, so I lined it up and everything, and just unfortunately banged it off the cage. I know every disc golfer in my comments has heard that sound a billion times, so it stinks. After having such a great drive on this hole, I really wanted to cash in the birdie, but I was unable, so I'm just walking up, pulling a putter out of the putter pocket and tapping in my par. But par's better than a bogey, so on to hole 16. Hole 16 is about 260 feet. There's two plays on this hole. You could take a sidearm out to the left or a backhand to the right. I generally opt for the backhand because I've never had a successful sidearm on this hole. I just take an ESP Malta, throw it straight, and let the disc hyzer across the ground to the basket. But unfortunately, this time I threw it a bit low, so I left it way short. So I've got another circle 2 putt, or it might be edge of circle 1, but another long putt to try to sink a birdie. So going into the tournament on Saturday, I definitely feel that I need to put a little bit more into my drives, or maybe change my disc selection and push into circle 1 a bit more. Not leave myself with these long putts, because I'm not cashing any of these long putts in. It's not a tool I have in my game, so I need to play to my strengths a bit more and try to put myself within circle 1. But This is an easy tap in for a par. Nothing more to really speak on that one. Move on to hole 17. Hole 17 is about 500 feet. It's a big dog leg off to the right. It's got a nice snaky fairway. The play that I'm opting for is to take this ESP Onyx because it's a bit lighter, so it's a bit flippier. So if I can put a good move on it, I can get it off to the right. And that's what I did. I actually thought this hit the branches because I couldn't see past it, so I was a little frustrated, but when I walked up to it, it's honestly not in a bad spot. So now all I have left is a nice easy flex sidearm up to the pin. I'm taking my champion Firebird and just lining up a nice little flex to the pin. And I actually thought that this shot was money. I was so happy with the way this turned out because this is actually kind of a tight tunnel. So getting a flex within, it looks like it's within circle one, is more than I could have asked for. So I definitely can't complain here. And after not getting a birdie on the last couple holes, I definitely want this more than anything. And I didn't take my time and I just tossed it over the basket. So I'm not having a great round today, guys. I am not having a great round, unfortunately. But like I said, it was cold, it was wet, it was muddy, it was windy. I could give you 1,000 excuses, but I just didn't play well. I needed to take my time, clear my head a bit more, and just capitalize on a lot of the efforts I gave myself and take a step back on the options that I didn't have. But unfortunately, I kept trying to grind it all out and just kept leaving myself short. So a lot of lessons learned from this round as we move into hole 18. A lot of things that I still need to work on moving forward. But I like the progress I've made this winter. I'm definitely playing at a level that I haven't played before. Hole 18 is about 325 feet. It's off to the right, and that was actually a really good line. As you can see, if it wouldn't hit that tree, I would have probably been within circle one, maybe circle two, but I felt like it was a good shot and just got unlucky with the tree, but that's disc golf. So I'm just taking an ESP zone. Nice, simple, smooth sidearm approach to take my par and end this round. So I can't complain. I mean, I think I ended the round at about -1. I definitely could have gotten more birdies, so I have high hopes for this tournament coming up on Saturday. Like I said, I just need to attack the holes I know I can get and play a lot safer on the holes that I don't think I can and kind of take my medicine, you know? So, 18 holes at Wilmore. It wasn't my greatest round, but, you know, it's my first round on camera. What can you expect, especially in these conditions? We do have a tournament this weekend. It is the South City Showdown. I'm playing in the intermediate division. With it being my first tournament, I didn't want to jump into advanced. I can normally shoot both courses below par, but I didn't really want to push it. I wanted to get a nice first tournament in and see where I'm at, and if I need to move down a division or if I need to move up a division, I can make that call after the tournament. So I will try to get a video done after the tournament and let you guys know how I did, go through kind of a breakdown of what I feel like I can improve on and what I'm doing really well at. I definitely think my putting needs a lot more work, just like every other budgeting disc golf player. I do a lot of practice putting, but I could always do more. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. If you did enjoy what you watched, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously and lets me know that you guys are enjoying my content. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.